All right, for 5.5 years, I've been printing virtually every day. One of the things that I do is I mount the filament on the side of the printer. Okay, so usually, since all my prints, pretty much all my prints, are less than 7.5 to 8 inches. Okay, that means this print is less than 7 to 8 inches. Okay, which means the gantry only rises as much as those prints will allow. Okay, so this gantry right here goes up, brings the hot end up to about 7.5 to 8 inches. And then what will happen is it will hit the holder, the filament holder, which is mounted right about here. Okay, so usually if the filament holder is here, the gantry will hit the holder eventually if it's tall enough. Okay, so if I end up doing a print such as this one that's going to be more than 7.5 or so 8 inches, it will hit here on the holder before it ends. Okay, so if the holder is mounted here, we have only this amount of room for the gantry, which is hitting right here. So what I'm going to do, which I did, is since I know this print is going to run this gantry up too high, I'm going to go ahead and move the holder below the gantry. Okay, so basically it's still mounted on the left side, allowing for direct path. All right, there's no arms, levers, or gizmos to redirect the filament because it's going straight into the extruder right here, because the holder is below the gantry. So as long as there's room under here, so when this gets up to a certain point and it still has this much more to go, just use the space that has been created and mount the holder under the gantry. Okay, turn the spool over, mount it under the gantry, and this will allow the print to finish without having to worry about it. Okay, because hitting here will hit up in here. So it essentially opens up the space and allows the filament. Let's see if I can focus here a little better. Okay, so anyway, so the holder now is mounted below the gantry. Okay, so right here it's below the gantry, allowing the gantry to increase, go higher as it needs to, and not worry about it hitting the holder mounted somewhere up in here. So let the gantry get up to a certain point, just slightly, less than half. Okay, slightly less than half, but there's enough space to mount the holder under the gantry while it still has room enough to move up. So there you go. So now that solves the issues of really tall prints, because normally I'll print something way less than 7 inches, on average, and I've been printing for over 5.5 years with the filament holder mounted on the left side, okay, on this left rail, somewhere in this location. But, and not have to worry about the gantry going tall enough to hit. But since this print is probably going to reach that point, it's probably going to get tall enough that I don't want to risk hitting here on the holder if I just mount the holder under. Okay, so that's it. So go ahead and go to bed and let it print without issue. All right, happy printing. Now, of course, when I go back to printing something less than 7 inches, like in the 4-inch range or whatever, then I'll move the holder right here back to its original location here on top. So this will eventually be taken off of here when this print is completed. It'll be taken off, moved above, because I know the gantry won't go as tall as that, and I'll put it back up here. So that is after this print is completed.